Hi folks, in this video I'm going to go over the basics of AreaZoom so you can get a sense of all of its features. There are other tutorials that take a deeper dive into some specific features. But after watching this video, you should be able to jump right in and start finding excellent real estate properties for sale in whatever neck of the woods you're looking for. AreaZoom goes way above and beyond when it comes to evaluating and analyzing property data, giving you access to deeply comprehensive data that would take weeks to get otherwise. It gives it to you in a heartbeat, and it allows you to easily organize your leads, make notes, and share this comprehensive data with others on your team in mere seconds. It's really a revolution in collecting, organizing, and sharing property data and market analysis. So let's jump right in here and I'll show you what it is and how it works. First of all, even without registering or logging in, you can still type in any address here and instantly get access to its details, including its value, price, property type and size, the year it was built, and so on. It gives you the AreaZoom Value Estimates graph, an extremely powerful tool unlike any other, showing you how your selected property compares to similar properties in the area, a comparative market analysis. This is all integrated with Google Maps, and you can switch to satellite view. You can drag this little guy in to get a specific street view, and so on. But let's go one step further here and register for AreaZoom to unlock many more features. It's free and takes 2 seconds. Just enter your email address, password, and confirm, and you'll instantly receive a confirmation email. Just click on the link to confirm and log in. Now, let's type in that same address again, and let's zoom out in our browser a little bit so we can get the most out of this layout. We recommend about 70% zoom level so we can see more of the map. So before we get into all of the features we have to organize and share all the data you find here, let's take a look at what data you're getting. For years and years, here's the way it's typically been done. Let's say a realtor is studying a particular property. They get data from a multiple listing service, and they might want to compare properties of a similar size in the local market. Then they try to compare them and get a CMA, or comparative market analysis, by looking at other properties that typically have been sold in the last 6 months. And they'll get analysis data similar to this. They take the averages of the sold properties and adjust for conditions or specific property features. Since it's very rare for different agents to come up with the exact same price, the realtor comes up with a discretionary price. In fact, let's say there are 3 agents. One will come up with a moderate price, another a more conservative price, and the third will come up with an aggressive price. All of this is unbeknownst to the consumer. The results are almost always going to vary. So this is typically the way data is aggregated, and the results are very rudimentary and actually not very reliable. That is to say, all 3 estimates here are valid, but there's no other information before or after this aggregation. Now think about it, no one in the scientific world would ever settle for this. 2 variables, square footage and price, and just a single point of information on the data. But again, this is how it's been done for years. Now let's show you what we're doing at AreaZoom. AreaZoom gives you a much more accurate, comprehensive, and scientific approach to evaluation. Like if NASA went to Mars to buy property, they'd want to know as much information as possible. The old way just wouldn't cut it. So at AreaZoom, we create a multiple market evaluation within a radius of a property, and use specific square foot increments to plot the maximum number of data points on a graph. By performing this curvilinear regression, we get sound data across the graph, which will give you a much better indication of the base value of a property. And you can determine the square foot increments you'd like to base the data on. For instance, if we run the data in 100 square foot increments, we're going to get 13 data points here for this particular property. If we run the data in 10 square foot increments, we're going to get many more data points here. All of this can be determined by you to get a clear as picture as you want on a specific property. In this case, we can see that the property estimated value is, of course, far higher than what it was sold for about 3 years ago. And compared to all the other surrounding properties, it looks like the current estimated value is still very conservative compared to other properties in the area. So again, here's the comparative market analysis that an agent typically has to look at, with huge holes in the data. And here's what AreaZoom gives you. We take every sold property within the radius you set into account, and what would take 8 or 9 hours to generate, we do it with 1 click. Now, while agents often do outstanding work, They can only work with the information they have. And until now, it's been almost next to impossible to be able to generate this much data. AreaZoom generates this data in a heartbeat and plots all the data points on a graph for you to see a specific property in a much more detailed context than ever before. Each of these data points is a CMA for that square footage. So instead of getting just one snapshot of a property, AreaZoom gives a panoramic view of the entire neighborhood and its property values. And again, you can customize this graph according to the criteria you'd like to focus on. We can set the AreaZoom analysis to within half, 1, 1.5, or a 2-mile radius of the property in question. You can choose how many comp properties you'd like to have show up in the column here, and if you review them and want to eliminate them from your comps, just click the X to get rid of them, and AreaZoom will instantly redo the evaluation with those properties removed. And you can set the square foot increments you'd like the graph to plot point here. You can customize this in whatever way works for you, and AreaZoom will give you the analysis you're looking for in seconds. So, that's the data you can get from AreaZoom. Deeply comprehensive data that you can understand at a glance. Now let's move on to the AreaZoom interface and see how easy it is to organize and share this data. First things first, this little icon will expand the menu. You can leave this open or collapse it at any time here. I'll go ahead and open it here to quickly show you two important features. With favorites, at any time you can click this star on a property to add it to your favorites. Let's click on another property, add it to our favorites, another property, add it to favorites, and so on. Very simple, you get the picture. This is a quick and easy way to flag properties you come across that you'd like to look at later, or to share with others on your team. And of course, this feature also works when the menu is collapsed. Just mark any property as a favorite and it'll be here for you. And simply click the star again to remove the property from your favorites list. Great. Now similarly, we can also make folders and add certain properties to certain folders. Obviously a great way to keep everything organized. For instance, I'll have my Hot Leads folder. Let's say I've got a team in Glendale, California that I'd like to share data on Glendale properties only, and another partner in Florida. You name it, you can organize your records in any way you like. Then, when we look at a property, we can come here to add this property to one or more of those folders. A fast, simple, clean way to help you stay perfectly organized. And don't forget that you can also add comments to properties here. Let's say we'd like to have our partner drive out and see it as soon as possible. Just add the comment and it's saved in the system. And finally, here's how fast and easy it is to share this with other people on your team, with potential clients or whoever you'd like to share this with. Just come to the particular folder you'd like to share and share it with that person by entering in their email address. So long as they are registered with AreaZoom, they'll be notified within seconds. They'll receive an email that contains a link, and with one simple click, that folder will be added to their folders. They can open it up and see all of the information, including any comments that have been added, or comments that are added in the future. The system is automatically updated for all users that share this folder. Back in the menu, let's also take a quick look at how fast you can import property data from another data source. Just come to Properties Import, and you can import your Excel file. In this case, we have 42 records we'd like to evaluate. And no matter how your list is formatted, AreaZoom makes it very easy for you to upload it. Just make sure you have these required fields correctly mapped. So in this case, we'll want to remove incorrectly mapped fields, then map the required fields correctly. The address, which is in this column, we'll map it as the address column, the property state, property zip code, and the APN number. And if you like, you can also map these optional fields. Upload, and those properties are immediately added to whatever folder you created for them. Simply click on that folder, and these properties will come up here with all of their information and with the AreaZoom Value Estimates graph. Or let's say you'd like to upload data from a multiple listing service, like auction or trustee sales. In my MLS, I can search, I can select all the properties within a certain area. I'll also filter these results down to properties that are active or for sale, and generate all the data into a table. In this case, 13 properties. I'll select them all, and export them as a CSV file. Now in this case, because the MLS didn't give me the address data in one field, I'll modify my data file here to do that. And now I've got all the address data I want in one field. Click on the bottom right-hand corner of the cell to do the same with the other entries, and copy and paste special as values. I can delete these cells that are now no longer needed, but I will need the status column here, the list price, and I want the assessor's parcel number. I'll save this file, and in AreaZoom, I'll come to my menu, Properties Import. Choose that file I just saved, create a folder for these records, and again map these fields correctly. The property address, the state, the zip, the status, the list price, I'd like that brought in, and I'll delete the fields that are not mapped correctly or that I don't need. And upload. And in seconds you get all those properties loaded up in AreaZoom. And look at this, we've got the subject property, the list price, as well as the AreaZoom evaluation. And in cases where you see the green box, especially with a high percentage, that's a good deal. And the red boxes with low percentages are going to be deals that are not so good. So we can use this to quickly and easily sift through properties and look for the best deals. Now imagine how much time this has saved. You can also easily purchase data from our site. This is clean, complete data, unlike what you often get from other websites with missing zip codes, cities, and so on. Our data is cleaned up and 100% ready for you to use. So let's open up a data set we've already purchased to show you. All of your purchases can be found right here in the Orders tab. Let's look at this set of 815 properties. Just download, and we'll open it up in Excel. And here we have the complete information on all those properties. The property type, the complete address, who owns it, the APN numbers, square feet, year built, date last sold, and even the AreaZoom 1 mile evaluation, all of this information. So let's take a quick look at how to purchase this data. We'll just come to our menu, Purchase Data. And let's say we want to take a deep look at a particular zip code that we find interesting. For this, we'll come to Global. We can enter in the zip code we'd like to look at. And we've got 657 properties here. Let's say we're only looking at residential properties, so we'll apply that filter. Any size, we've got the minimum or maximum assessed value, any filters you'd like to apply here. Apply filters, and you'll see all the properties in that selected area that fit that criteria. In this case, 561 properties. Now, let's go one step further. Let's click on subcategories to see more information on these residential properties. And here we can see the different types: single-family residential, mobile home, and so on. And here we can see their turnover rate. In the last 12 months, we can see that 39 or 7.74% of these single-family residences have sold. So you can see where the money is flowing. I'll select the properties I'd like to look at, apply, and close. And now I've got 504 properties. Now I'd like to buy this information. I just come to Show Details, create a folder to organize these records, and click Create Order. And it will show up in my Orders tab here, where I can cancel the order or pay for it. In this case, these 504 property records are only going to cost me about 25 bucks. You can do it this way, you can pay for data as you go, or with an annual AreaZoom account, you'll be getting these for about half the cost. We can also mail merge letters in seconds. Let's say we'd like to send letters to available properties that we've found in Fort Myer. In our folders, we'll open up our saved Fort Myer properties, come to Switch View, and select specific properties, or all. Mail merge, and we can quickly and easily format a letter to send them. AreaZoom even gives you these field buttons, which will automatically populate with information specific to that property. For instance, Dear Ownership will fill in the name of the owner. We see you have a property for sale at address. Would you be interested in a cash offer? And so on. Format the letter any way you like, create the mail merge, and in a split second, you have separate letters for all of the selected properties you've merged, conveniently ready to go inside a Word or PDF document that you can open up and print. Also, it shouldn't go without mentioning that with the Pro account, you can also search for property records by name, and their property information will come up. Let's say I'm looking at a certain individual, and I want to know how many properties they own. Easy. In this case, this individual owns 4 different properties in Florida and 5 more in California. No other service does this. Again, with a free account, you get a wealth of these features. With a pro account, you get even more. So feel free to explore our plans and pricing page to see what works for you. And if you have any questions at all, feel free to contact us.